Saudi Arabia, an ancient desert land rooted in tradition and tribes, is no stranger to the women's rights and feminist discourse around the world. Saudi women have often been portrayed in the media as oppressed, mysterious, and jaded. Yet, not all of us are. The reality is, our past socio-political landscape and inherent cultural values inhibited us in a segregated society. Saudi is a monocratic and theocratic government. The Islamic religion and Sharia law play fundamental roles in the constitution of the government. Saudi's political landscape in the last 35 years is a result of the Islamic Revolution of 1979, when a fanatic extremist attacked the Grand Mosque in Mecca in an attempt to overthrow the existing government. The 60s and 70s were a time where women could drive, wear what they want, cinemas, music, and video stores placed in almost every corner. Since then, cinemas were closed and filming was considered immoral. Women had to cover, considered inappropriate to drive, were segregated from men in public spaces and work, and put under male guardianship laws. Female seclusion was intended originally to protect women, but the orthodox interpretation of the Holy Quran created a socially extreme concept of female modesty. So what changed in the last 5 years? Well, the change in Saudi, especially for women, began when King Salman took the throne in 2015 and appointed his son Mohammed bin Salman Crown Prince, who's referred to as MBS, giving him majority control over the government. He established Vision 2030, a plan to reform and liberalize Saudi in an effort to shift the country's economy away from oil and prepare the country for the future, developing freedoms for women and abiding by a more moderate form of Islam. Their aim was to resolve cultural stigmas and remove the religious police or any religious authority to be in charge of the rules and regulations of the country. This resulted in a massive cultural and economic shift that broke the barriers for Saudi to develop and give women opportunities in the labor force and more independency.
She's driving. The Crown Prince realizes you have to change the economy and diversify in Saudi Arabia. In order to do that, you have to change the culture. And if you're going to change the culture, you have to start with women.
And no doubt Saudi's culture is shifting from conservative views towards a more modern perspective on women. In December of 2015, women were granted the ability to vote and run for municipal elections, and as of December 2018, cinemas were opened in Saudi, gender segregation was dismantled, women were allowed to drive, and put an end to male guardianship laws, making them able to travel, get medical assistance, and open a business without permission from a male guardian. Slow yet steady, the change for both Saudi's entertainment industry and women in the country is just the beginning. Different feminist theories can be recognized within Saudi society, and the limitations of women are obvious. Yet Western models of feminism don't agree with the mindset of the Saudi people. When applying the term feminist to the Saudi society, it can be limiting to many women looking for feminism that intertwines with their religious beliefs. Saudi women are proud of their Saudi and Islamic heritage and want their movements towards equality to reflect that. They try to meet society's expectations while also being eager to take an active role in their education and career. According to a research article titled Is There Feminism in Saudi Arabia?, women's movement in Saudi is mainly taken at the social scale, and the term women's movement can be taken loosely, referring to various modes of empowerment which may not be presented as movements of their own or as conscious effort to change society, yet they are leading to concrete results. And this is evident in the works of Saudi filmmaker Haifa al-Mansour, a trailblazer in her own right, using film as a movement to subtly invoke change and a more tolerant society. Rather than clash with the culture, she reflects the culture back onto them. Yet for many conservatives in the region, for a woman to be working, let alone working with men and being on screen, is unethical. However, her message is clear.
I'm also, as a filmmaker, I try to work within the system. I don't try to be too controversial. I don't try to threaten their value as much as they think, but as much as I try to move them. We always talk about women issues, and it's a big thing in Saudi, but they never seen it through a child story. It's put a human face on an intellectual debate and make them feel. Maybe a father will see this and will feel for their daughters and give them more rights.
Haifa made history in 2012 with the country's first feature film and first film to be entirely shot in Saudi. Wajda follows the story of a 10-year-old girl who dreams of having a bicycle and joins a Quran recitation contest with a cash reward to get a bike on her own, only to be met with the gender norms around her. The film highlights the struggles of women in Saudi, such as the driving ban. It depicts the acceptance of women's roles and their realities. The bike is a metaphor. It is a vehicle that could be rid freely and independently. It symbolizes the liberation of women in Saudi society, and at the end of the film, Wajda rides her bike freely on the streets of Riyadh, symbolizing hope for the community. The film was the first submission from Saudi to the Oscars, and was considered an opportunity for the Saudi film industry to flourish, while also pressing for a more equal society for women in the country. The fact that Haifa is a female filmmaker in itself is transgressive, and the mere fact that the film was made shows the ways in which the country is changing. Regardless of the obstacles, she used and continues to use the power of storytelling to recognize her voice and empower women and move past patriarchal society. After Wajda, she directed Hollywood films with women empowerment plots, such as Napoli Ever After and Mary Shelley. And her recent feature film, The Perfect Candidate, tells a Saudi story of a female doctor facing gender-based challenges and strict social norms while running for municipal council in her town. Mansour believes that showing a lead female character indirectly empowers women, saying that she's not a supporting role, she's the main role. You invest in her journey, love her, and root for her, and that is why it's important for a conservative audience to see. She aspires to continue tackling topics that are relevant to modern Saudi society and represent the challenges that many women face. Haifa Mansour herself is a transgressive women's movement behind the camera, defying the norms and social stigmas around her. She recognized the demand for an authentic Saudi narrative and female voice. Just like her narratives, she is not a victim of her surroundings. She rises above her limitations to tell her story. And it is my honor as a woman first and an aspiring Saudi filmmaker to have shed light to a prominent voice that used film to inspire societal shift in the country's views on women, gender politics, and its cinema industry.